Hello, folks. Welcome to Learn Live series, fourth episode on microservices. I'm Vivek Sridhar. I have Vincent with me, who is going to help me continue with the journey with respect to the microservices. Hey, Vincent, introduce
Hi,
yourself.
hello. Yes, sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Vincent Bai. I'm a cloud solution architect, or CSA for short, at Microsoft. I'm specialized in the area of digital and app innovation. And as a CSA, my role is to make our customers even more successful on running their workloads on Azure. Besides my CSA work, I am also a C# developer, and I love working with Blazor. And I've been working at Microsoft for almost 3 years, and I'm based in the Netherlands.
Welcome to the show, Vincent.
Thank you.
Well, we have moderator and Stacy is here. We are live and you can ask a lot of questions to us. Stacy is an expert in the microservices area, and today's focus area is also about logging and monitoring for microservices. So go ahead and ask questions to Stacy, and Stacy will be able to answer questions in the chat. And while we run through the show and while we run through the Learn module as well, we'll be doing live coding, live demo here. And while we are doing it, you can ask questions to us as well, and we'll pick some of the questions at the end. But Stacy is here, so do make sure you ask all the questions, clear all your doubts with respect to the module, and Stacy will be able to help you. And welcome, Stacy, for the show as well. And she, as you know, she is Microsoft MVP, and she's an expert there. So welcome again. So Vincent, so what's in the agenda today?
Yeah, so today we're going to walk you through the Learn module that shows you how you can instrument your cloud-native ASP.NET Core microservices app. And you want to do that to diagnose problems and monitor performance. So if you scan the QR code, then the Learn module will open up in your favorite browser, and you can follow along with what we are doing, which is a good way to keep this interactive. And Vivek, how does this actually relate to the previous episode that you did, and what are our learning objectives for today?
Yes, so the previous three sessions which we have done, the first session was more of understanding what our microservice are, and from a .NET perspective, what are the tools you need, and how do you build and deploy something to cloud native apps, right? And cloud native tools you want to use, and also we built the microservice app and deployed it to the local Kubernetes architecture and local Kubernetes installation as well from using Docker Desktop. And in the last two sessions, it's been pretty interesting because we took a real world example of microservices, and we deployed a service to that list of microservices we had, and we added it to a different service, and one of the service was able to connect with other service, and we will talk more about it in next few slides. And also we used resiliency. So how do you do the resiliency in terms of code, and also how do you add resiliency using service mesh and other things? So before we go there, this is the Learn module link, which you can pick from in the slide, or the QR code is there. Work along with us, and otherwise you can also spend some time in the back end, see what we do, and go back and execute this on your own.
Yeah.
So coming to the learning objective of this specific module, what we're going to do is basically we are going to understand the logging and performance monitoring concept. What are these two concepts are, and basically implement logging and application insight together through application insights. How you can implement this with performance monitoring and logging with application insights, which is an interesting one, and specifically with .NET. And then we'll go in depth with Azure monitoring for containers, and this is specifically for Kubernetes cluster. And since we have this microservice application on Kubernetes cluster, how do you extract some of the metrics information from the containers as well? We will see that, and then we will add some of the custom performance metrics using Prometheus. So we will see how you can use Azure monitoring with Prometheus, how to get metrics from Prometheus as well, and then we'll spend some time in terms of use performing some of the custom performance metrics, how to examine it, how to even see these information in Azure monitoring, right? So this is the objective of this learn module. And from an introduction perspective, Vincent, you know
That's a lot of ground.
obviously.
That's a lot of ground to
y-
cover. But maybe we
yes.
should start off with a little bit of an introduction of what we're going to use today. And it's basically the same thing that we've been using in the previous modules as well. But each module is by on itself, so you can get all the source code and follow along. And we're going to use that environment, which is called eShop on Container. It's an online storefront, cloud native, microservices, ASP.NET Core app. And what we have on the screen now is the kind of the architecture diagram of that. And yeah, to facilitate finding and diagnosis issues easier, we'll implement a logging and monitoring solution in here. But in
Yes.
general, in such a solution like this, it helps to illustrate the relationships between all those components and indeed identify resource consumption and performance bottlenecks, etc. So for the
Yes, and
sorry, yeah,
so
go ahead.
what I wanted to say is the previous sections, the previous learn modules, what we did was to add that specific coupon service. And there's a coupon service which was not part of the list of services which was there. So we added a new service called coupon service, and we added into the event bus and made sure ordering service can talk to the coupon service. And we also added that particular service to aggregator, where everything aggregates at one point, and you can see a couple of service getting invoked in terms of accessing the services.
Correct. Yeah. And you might know this eShop on Containers application already if you've seen the ebook .NET Microservices Architecture for Containerized .NET Applications. This is a modified version and specifically tailored to this Learn module. But it should look familiar if you have read that book and followed along in the code that was there. Speaking about following along, if you will follow along with what we're doing today, you will do so in your own Azure subscription. So make sure that you kind of deprovision them once we're done to not have unnecessary costs on your Azure subscription. If you don't have an Azure subscription yet, create a free account and you have enough credits then to follow along with us, or do that at a later time at your own leisure.
So for today's example as well, Vincent, we are going to use the same eShop container, and we're going to add the application insight and Azure monitoring on top of this, and monitor a couple of services, and also see some of the service logging some of the things, and we'll see it on the Azure portal, how it gets logged and how it gets enabled, right?
Yes, and we're not going to be using all the microservices in here, but we're specifically looking at the HTTP aggregator and the coupon service and two others. But the rest is kind of out of scope. But of course, the principles apply to those services as well.
True. So let's understand what is logging and monitoring. So Vincent, can you just give a brief about, like, why do we need it, and what is the difference between logging and monitoring?
Yeah, so what you see here on the screen are kind of like the more kind of formal definitions of logging and monitoring. I always kind of use the simplified definition and say that logging is what a developer does in the code to tell the outside what is happening on the inside of the program. And with monitoring, you are looking from the outside at how the whole environment of the app is behaving. So think of CPU usage or memory usage, but also the number of requests that are coming into the application and things like that. Um, so what is generated by logging that helps you to troubleshoot the issues when the app doesn't behave as expected. It's a text-based event record that are written to those logs while the app is running, and you can use those logs then to see what was happening at what time and where it went wrong. And
So
monitoring, yeah,
logging is generally basically from a developer point of view, where he can customize what he wants and what information
correct.
he wants to log, and then he is setting it up, and so that the other team can collect this information and see what's happening.
Correct. Yeah. And also you, of course, you most of the times you don't just want to know what is happening inside the program. You also want to know what happens on the service that it's running on or the cluster that it's running on. And that's where kind of monitoring comes in. So that gives you all the metrics that you can use to observe the system in almost near real time. And yeah, the metrics are collected from different kind of levels in the architecture. Like I said, so it could be the CPU, but it could also be the requests. And you do it on different physical infrastructure levels, like the nodes and the containers, and all the dependent services that are in the application environment, I
Got it.
should. Yeah.
Okay. So basically monitoring, I mean, obviously when it comes to cloud native, the Kubernetes and containers architecture, so you definitely have a couple of more things added to it. That is the node and containers, and also app tracing and other things which gets added to into the challenge there, right?
Right. Yes.
So I'll just talk a little bit of how to implement logging in a microservice. So microservice is obviously pretty challenging when it comes to logging and monitoring, and there are a couple of challenges, right? Because since you have multiple services, and these multiple services need to be, you need to have a centralized view, right? What's where I can view all the logs together. You need to make sure that you are able to aggregate the view. And the other challenge which you will have is basically from a schema perspective. As we told in previous session, that microservices have different tech stacks, and these tech stacks might have different log management system as well, the different way to logging as well. So the way they would log is not the similar way where the other service has been logging. So basically it has different schemas, and how does these schemas come together and form as a one single view for you. And then also it's also about how multiple services are invoked when a single request is being submitted. So there could be a request which is coming from service A to B, C, D, E. So it can touch around 25 different microservices, and then
Yeah.
send the request back to the main requester. So there you need to make sure, you need to see the trace of the request which went in, and you need to see which all services it did go and invoke, and not just seeing which service it is talking to, but also seeing which service had a performance latency issue, which service did not respond, which service had a issue with respect to other dependencies failing. So all these kind of information needs to be captured while you build something, build a log management and a log strategy. There are additional challenges which is get when you build it on Kubernetes. So obviously when containers are moving and it has been rescheduled, there are issues with the how you can see where the data is from the containers and where the containers are. And also the Kubernetes networking is obviously an abstraction. And from a solution perspective, what you need to have in a when you implement logging, what you need to have is basically a view, aggregated view of all the logs, and all the logs which has been generated from several microservices, and there need to be a correlation. So basically, for one request, there need to be a correlation between the rest of the trays it has been creating. So there has to be a way to figure out the different services being invoked and what's
Yeah,
happening
correct.
in different services, and then obviously how you can pass on the context information. So it could be simple as infrastructure information, or it could be like a database transaction information. So say one of the services, I'm committing one of the database transaction, and that information has to be sent to the other service and saying, okay, it has been committed, and just take this information to the next level. So it has to be, there has to be exchange of information from a context perspective. So all these things need to be integrated into the logging strategy. Um, so
Exactly.
that's something which I just wanted to speak. And there is a couple of things, from a logging perspective. So Vincent, there is a structured logging and unstructured logging as well.
Yeah.
So what is structured logging, and how exactly we are using it in today's Learn module?
Yeah. So the problem that you described with the different microservices and each having their own tech stack and therefore also having their own logging mechanisms and having kind of all kinds of unstructured data that is not related to each other, that's a big problem. And the solution for that is to use structured logging. So structured logging gives you the approach where the messages are written in a consistent format, which is optimized for machine readability. So that makes it easier to kind of navigate through that information with a machine. And yeah, like I said, they all have a predefined schema. So yeah, you can consider a log then as a data set that you can query and do actions on. An example of such a structured format is JSON, which is widely used, of course. While if you talk about an unstructured log format, yeah, that's just a plain text file with a lot of lines of logging information. And that's difficult to query and not very useful if you want to combine those different sources together.
So you mean to say the structured logging is about building into a similar one kind of a format? The JSON
Yes,
format is an
exactly.
example of structured logging. Yeah.
Exactly, and also giving you kind of capabilities to make sure that you can, because you have different services, you would need to kind of relate those services to each other. So we have all kinds of functionality, like for example, a transaction ID that you can use inside your logging, and that is kind of recognized in all the different microservices that you have. So it can cross across those microservices, and that allows you to kind of connect all those messages in those different logs together. So for the .NET part, we have the Microsoft extensions.logging assembly. That's kind of like the infrastructure that we have. And on top of that, we have all kinds of APIs, both native and third party, that allow you to build up on that logging API that is available in the framework. For eShop on containers, we are using Serilog, which is one of the most well-known structured logging mechanisms. And it's open source and third party, and yeah, it just integrates nicely. So we're going to show how that's going to work with all those different microservices that we have. And if you look at the screen now, you can see kind of how that works. So the first block of text is basically how you can send out a logging message into the system, into the Serilog system, where the first part is actually kind of like a template of the message that you want to send in. The second parameter is that transaction ID, for example, that I talked about, that comes from a specific context. And the third parameter is kind of interesting, as you can see with the @ sign. And that basically means, hey, don't give me just the toString representation, but actually serialize the object in here that I sent to the log file. And that kind of gives you the message that you see in the bottom half of the screen, which is that structured set of data in JSON that is sent out to the aggregator, and that you can then query on later on and say, yeah, I want to have, for example, all the logs that are from a specific date or a specific time, or from a specific process, or from a specific transaction, and that would give you all those logging entries from the different services with that specific transaction ID.
Got it. So that is the code which you need to execute, and this is the output of the
Yes,
code, and
correct.
it gets added in, on the fly. All these information is being stored in the JSON format,
Yeah,
and this has been sent to some place, right? So it needs to be
correct.
sent to some place to be managed.
Yeah.
So that's one part of it. The other part is obviously, as I told, right, it's about context and correlation IDs. What are these things?
So the correlation ID that gives you a kind of a link between different contexts. So, for example, in the eShop on containers, you have every request being assigned a unique ID. And then that unique ID is a dimension that can be used to correlate all those events related to that request. So the transaction ID is something that has to do with a specific order, for example. But this is more on a more granular level, but, where you're specifically looking at a request that is done to the app.
Okay, so this is, I mean, while we are building the context, there are default ones as well, but we can also extend that using
Yes,
enrichment, right? So,
enrichment.
so for example, you have a database transaction which is happening, and you are passing that information to different service that I have
Correct.
done the database transaction, and you're telling the other service that you have commit, you have done a commit on that database. Is that extensible using enrichment with .NET?
Yes, that's indeed what. Well, it's not specifically for .NET. It's more like a functionality that you can use with Serilog. That enrichment. We'll also see an example of that in the exercises. And like you said, there's many of those context properties that you can use, and the ones that we are using here in the eShop on containers is the list that is shown on the screen. But there can be more. There can be more, indeed, like you say, for example, with the database monitor. And what we didn't really make clear yet, perhaps, is where that information is then sent to. There's different mechanisms that you can use within Serilog, for example, to send the information to. Those are called sinks. And one of those things that is used in this eShop on containers is sec, and that enables filtering and other functionality based on that structured format. But we'll also be looking at other things inside this Learn module later on.
Yeah. So there are these are the Nugget packages we are going to use as well while building the log management systems, and one of the thing which we are going to use is sync with application insight, and also
Correct.
build
Yeah.
something with respect to Azure monitoring system as well, right? So coming to the Azure monitoring system, right? So even before we go there, this is how you can set it up. So this is an example of and how you can use the enrich, that is application context which we talked about, not the
Correct. Yeah.
unique ID, the application context where you are sending the app name, and you're basically writing to a console, maybe in a text or a JSON format, and you are sending that information to sec. So these are the couple of things which you're going to use from a package perspective, and
Correct.
this is how you can design that in the .NET, right?
Yeah,
And
you can see the enrich from log context somewhere on the fourth line of the return statement. So that's basically where you plug in that enrichment into the logging system that you've set up for the application.
And this is something which you added for all the services whenever the service is invoked, right? So
Yes, where
whenever
you,
you invoke that service, and this is
yes,
something which has been sent as output. Yeah,
correct. Yes, and we'll see more of that code later on in the exercises.
true.
So yeah, so Stack is one of the options of kind of having a logging aggregator inside of your own application and in your own architecture. There's of course also other ways that you can send out that log information to a different system. And the system that we're going to be looking at today is Azure Monitor. So in Azure Monitor, you can understand how your cloud native services are performing, and you can proactively identify issues and query the log data, etc. And what you're seeing here is a kind of a high level overview of Azure Monitor, where on the left side you have all the different sources of monitoring data. Then in the middle you have the two different databases, one for that logging information and the other one for the monitoring information, the metrics. And on the right side you can see all these extra functionality that you can plug into that data sources and use for that
So
discovery that I described.
yeah, so basically on the right side, basically all those services which can consume the logs and the metrics data which is being captured via the source. And
Exactly.
I mean, you can obviously perform analysis, you can respond through an alert, you can integrate with third party integrations with logic apps, and you can also see there is application insights is one of the component of Azure monitoring as well. So there is a source, there is a database where it is capturing in two different format. One is the logs and one is the metrics, and which is a telemetry data and also the time series information, and then that has been consumed in various different formats to build analytics, to build visualization of this data, and to respond and to integrate with third party, and also perform some of the insights. There are two
Yeah.
things which is very interesting here. Is one is the application insights, and then there is containers. So
Right.
since we are talking about containers, so we're going to deep dive into Azure monitoring for containers, and also spend some time on application insights.
Yeah.
So from a application performance management, so application insight is nothing but a performance management service, which is part of the Azure monitoring service. This is to get the information on the error rates, or you have information on response time and other things. So you want to capture all those telemetry data and performance data and failure informations, etc. So you want to capture all those information. So you will use application insights as one of the services to see what's happening in your application, and it's very easy to set this up. So specifically from a .NET perspective, you all need to do is uh, you know set up a Nugget package,
Yeah.
and that simply take an app where you want to send this date information, add that information on that app, and just send that information via the Siri logs using sync. And once you do that, the data is available on application insight. Once the information is available, you can use the most advanced analytics tools like Power BI, which can extract this information and build a search on this raw data which has been captured. So that's I mean, just a simple overview of the application insights. We will spend some time while we do the exercises, or we will
To
implement
actually
this
build it in.
specific
Yeah.
thing. Yep.
Yeah, like you said, it's very easy to set up in your application, and it's so easy that we can do it live on the show today to show you how it's done. Yeah.
And it's so what we have been discussing here is what is our log logging strategy is, and what were the challenges, and how what should be the architecture from a log perspective, and what we are using to build that log management system, specifically on application insights. And then we discussed about Azure monitoring, and Azure monitoring for containers and other things from a structure and from architecture perspective. But this is specifically to capture some of the metrics from a Prometheus. And the reason why Prometheus is being used here is because you might have large number of microservices. So you have 25 or 30 microservices which is sending telemetry data. So that data rate is pretty high,
Yeah, you
and
can
you might
imagine that
need
it.
a big, yeah, you need a bigger infrastructure for that. And and the reason why Prometheus is really good for this is because it's a time series database. So what you're doing here is you're capturing the data points with respect to the timestamps. So that information is captured and then being used for performing query and other things. The good part here is what we will see as well in an example, that in while you're using you're using Azure monitoring service, you don't need a Prometheus server. So Prometheus server is nothing but it's a store, right? It's a data store, and it does typically pulls the metrics from the app and stores it there and uses a query language to query the information. So all this being provided on the fly on Azure monitoring service, right? So basically you don't need a server, it Prometheus server. You just need to capture the data, the which is scrape the data metrics from the containers, and then use Azure monitoring to to perform the query and other things. So on the fly, Azure monitoring provides Prometheus for you.
Azure Monitor is the server then.
Yes. So, Vincent, so we are already here. We're going to do a couple of things with respect to exercises.
Yeah.
So there are three things which we are going to show. One is how do implement application insight, and we will see how do you see the insights in the Azure portal, and then Azure monitoring for containers is one of
Correct.
the part where we're going to cover. So let me go to the learn module. Uh, so this is the learn module which we are executing, and this is part of the main learn module which we have been discussing. And this learn module specifically talks about the logging and monitoring service which we just discussed.
Right.
So even before we start with the exercises, as you can see, you can set up the environment. So we have set up, we have executed this magic script which is there, and you can see this magic script. What it does is to create a complete infrastructure for us to execute this learn module. So basically it creates that eShop on container on Azure Kubernetes service. It makes sure that all the containers are in the Azure Container Registry, and a couple of things which is required for the specific modules to be executed
Yeah.
is being set up. So we have already done that. So we have run it, and if you can see
And
here,
maybe to add to that, Vivek, that like we said in the beginning, this is a series of learn modules, but each module has its own setup script, so there's no need to start at the beginning. You can just hook in here if you like, run that script, and then you have everything set up to complete this specific module successfully.
yeah. So it's done. Everything is set up. So we have this architecture ready. So I'm going to the next set of things, and we will see what needs to be done. So I'll straight away dive into exercise. So
Yeah. So basically, what you saw before is all the things that we just discussed within the PowerPoint. But now we're actually going to make our hands a little bit more dirty and do stuff um, in the Cloud Shell within Azure. So we don't even need you don't even need your own development environment to do this. Just have the Azure portal and an Azure subscription is enough to get up and running.
Yeah, and this is the Cloud Shell. And whenever you get into the portal, just go to the Cloud Shell here and just click on that, and you will get to this. And obviously, this is maximized, so you can see that. And we are here. So, what we need to do first is to set up this extension. So, what is this extension, Vincent?
Yeah, so the what you just mentioned, the Cloud Shell, it's actually a command line interface into Azure. So you have all kinds of commands that you can fire off to have Azure do things for you. But it's not gonna have everything, every service enabled by default. So basically, by adding this extension, we're saying to the command line interface, okay, we also want you to do application insights commands and handle that for us. And yeah, it's already done now by Vivek, and it's already finished. So the next step now is that we need to add the application insight resources to the different services that we have in our environment.
So
And that's
this is a command to create a key value pair, right?
right.
From an
Yeah. So
instrumentation key and the yes application insight keys.
yes, and we definitely want to have these kind of keys to make sure that the right data gets sent out to the right application monitor, Azure Monitor that we set up. So what you're seeing here is that basically we're not just using one monitor for the entire environment, but we're setting up 4 different monitors for the different sections that we want to monitor here, which are the catalog and the ordering, etc.
Yeah. So the key has been generated for catalog. So let me go into the catalog deployment and then go into the K8s and Helm simple and go into the catalog templates config map. So I have it open here, and all I need to do is to add this information. So
Get the
good,
right key in
you
there,
know,
yeah.
it
And
has
those
to be
keys
different.
are,
Yeah.
yeah, those keys are shown as the output of the command that Vivek entered earlier. So he has to do this now for the catalog and the coupon and the ordering, etc. And while he is doing that, you can watch him type on screen, of course. But there's also one question that came in on what would be the advantage of using a third party like Serilog instead of having each service log directly into application insights. Well, that's definitely an option. But one of the things that we discussed earlier is that every service then would have its own logging format. And you would need to do the work yourself to make sure that you can then have a kind of a structured format for each service. So you have to define a kind of API or schema to make sure that the services all use that same format that you can then aggregate. And by using this third-party application for Serilog, that is basically done for you. So the schema is already defined, and each service just uses that schema and makes sure that that same format is used and validated, etc.
And the advantage there as well is the use of sync as well. Yeah,
Correct. Yes.
because it does provide a way to store these logging information in various different services. You can store it in Cosmos DB, App
Correct. Yeah.
Insights, Blob Storage, Azure Blob Storage, and various places as well.
That's definitely another advance. Yes.
So I'm adding this under, if you notice this has been added under data. That means this information will be available to the app on the runtime, not just available, as part of the configurations, right? So it's basically on the runtime, it picks in this information. So I'm hoping I've saved everything. It's a bit tricky,
Yeah.
so make sure.
4 of them, but I think you've done all of them.
App Insights. Okay, this is true, correct. Catalog is correct. Coupon service. Good. Yes, I've done. And then they have ordering service, all done. Good one. And we have this one is also done. Yes, I have set it up.
Okay, so that's the first part.
So now we need to make sure we enable the packages which
Correct?
is required for application insight, specifically for .NET and Kubernetes and application insight. So this is what we've been
Yeah,
talking
that's what
about,
we were
where
discussing.
yeah, so where you can use the sync with Citylog with application insight. The advantage is it also provides with with Azure Cosmos DB, the blob storage, and various other system of Azure
Yeah.
services of Azure where you can push this information to. So let me go ahead and install these packages.
Yeah, so the NuGet packages are kind of the first thing that you do to prepare your code to make use of application insights. They are being added to the project here in the catalog API. You saw Vivek posting and pasting codes for 4 services, but the other ones have already been prepared with the necessary code. But for the catalog API, we're going to do it here live. So first add the NuGet packages to the project. And now what he's going to do is add the necessary code changes to the catalog API.
Yeah, to service catalog API, right?
Yes.
So let me close this off. Go to source, go to services, go to catalog, go to catalog API, go to extensions,
Extensions, yes.
service collection. So I'm
Correct.
just adding those service collection. This is where I think this is what we need to add, right? There is
Correct.
already a where we have given the comments, so you can use these comments to make sure that you're adding it in the right place. So I'm just copying this code and adding it here.
Yeah, and what this does, basically makes it a little bit easier to add application insights to the services collection by just using one command, and it basically replaces the call to this with those 2 services that you see there. So in this case, it would only be 2, but once you need to do something else, you might need to add another one and do it at different places, etc. And by using this extension method, you can keep it all in one place, and you don't have to change the code that calls this extension method.
Yes,
Now then we
and
actually, of
also
course,
just to add, it also uses Kubernetes enricher here.
right,
So
yes,
basically
yeah.
it sends Kubernetes specific data as well.
Yeah, and that I think that
Uh,
helps with the thing that you were describing earlier with the virtual networking, etc. That kind of is abstracted away, and that you can still get a good view of where the code has been running and what it has been doing, even with that virtual network and the changing underlying hardware.
yes. So I'm just adding the service there, the app insight configuration under the
Yeah, so actually
startup
calling
script.
that
Yeah,
that extension method that we created before.
yeah. So it's just a simple one line adding that, and we need to make sure the app instrument insights instrumentation key is being captured. So we
Correct.
go to program.cs. Oops, save it.
Yeah, so
Program.cs.
in the slides we earlier saw this kind of code block already. So this is where we're actually creating the Serilog adapter, and now we have
City
to
log.
say we want to add application insights to that. So first we get this information from the configuration. That's what was done over here. Correct. And then we
Added
add to the
that.
log configuration that we want to write to application insights.
Yes. So this is just after console,
Correct.
right? Yeah. So I'm saving this and we are good to go. So a couple of changes been made and we
Yeah,
will
that's
just
kind of what we
build.
explained just now, and now we just have to build it, uh, build the project, and make sure that the changes are reflected in the DLLs. Should be fairly quick. So as you can see, this building of the source code is done within the Azure portal. You don't have to do that in your own development environment, but you can, of course, if you want, and then you need to deploy it all again. And once this build is done, we need to make sure that these changes are reflected, of course, in the environment. So that we need to run a couple of scripts to make sure that it gets sent to the Kubernetes cluster. And that's what Vivek is going to do now with these commands once the build is ready.
Yeah. So I just need to copy this. So once we have this, will just deploy these services and basically we made a couple of changes to the config maps as well, so that we will talk about it. But let me wait. The build is over. Yes, good one. So let's go and push this image. So just note that we have to deploy this catalog service and the aggregator, and also we need to deploy the coupon and ordering service because we made changes in the configuration. So basically it's there is no code change, but there was changes we added into the app inside. So the configurations were changed, so we need to redeploy that one as well. So let's wait for this deployment, this thing to build and push it to Azure Container Registry, where you can have your, all the container images stored,
Yeah.
and you can use that
Hey, Vivek,
for.
what we didn't show the audience yet is actually how and where this all is running. But of course, after the whole deployment and setup has been done, a couple of environments have been set up. The one that you
Oh
can
yeah,
see, of course, is the actual eShop,
yes,
which is shown here on screen. And the
yes,
second
it's
one is
the
the
health.
check, which is built into the platform and uses all kinds of things also in Kubernetes to kind of monitor the situation on the cluster. What you would be seeing now, probably not yet, but if Vivek is going to deploy the next command, is that some services will become unhealthy because they are being changed out with the new and adapted services.
Yes, and by the way, we're going to make sure we'll do a couple of things on this service, so that you will see a couple of events getting created here as well.
Yeah.
This is the sec log server. So basically, all the log is coming here from all the services.
From the Serilog services, yeah.
Yeah. It is getting pushed. So yeah, we need to run this one, right?
Yes.
So this is an interesting app. So should I log in and see?
Yes, definitely.
We'll just create this so that it's easier for us to demo the how the purchase happen as well.
Yeah, so like we said all the way in the beginning, it's a storefront. So basically, it's just a shop which of course is showing you a catalog and allows you to order stuff. And we are all fond of discounts, of course, so it's also an option to enter a discount into your cart and then see that applied. Now, of course, there's not represent a real environment in a sense that we actually going to ship anything, but it kind of gives you a good overview of the process of buying stuff online and what kind of steps are involved in that process, and how you can translate those steps into specific services in your environment.
Yes. So I've just run that deployed to Kubernetes. So basically, it's basically done through the Helm chart. So Helm is nothing but a package. They have a couple of YAML files. You want to package it as one. So that's how we are packaged. You can see here from a deployment perspective. Let me show you. A simple order management system has 4 different YAMLs specifically for different things. So you want to package this as one YAML. So that's where the charts come in. So that's where the whole service come in. So I have done the deployment of the catalog service, but as I told you, we need to redeploy the coupon service as well. The code change is not there, but we made the configuration changes, so we need to deploy that as well. So we'll come to the verification part once I deploy this as well.
So you should be seeing something happening now in the help,
Unhealthy.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, I already have a couple of them. And couple of more will get added here once the deployment starts for the other ones.
But Kubernetes is taking care of making sure that those get redeployed and added to the pool, etc. So they will eventually turn healthy again automatically here. That's not something that you need to do yourself, right?
Yes. So you can see a couple of more services were added to the unhealthy because we redeployed ordering and we redeployed ordering coupon service and other things. Order system is dependent on coupon service as well, so it is still unhealthy. So
So
let's go back
can
here.
you explain? We have a question in from YouTube coming in. If the image will be built from the Docker file with the ACR build?
Yes. So if you see here, the image was built here in this command. We did run, basically we build it and also push that image to the ACR as well. And this is a simple shell script which is there under the code base. You can.
Right.
So we just built it and shipped it to the ACR, which is nothing but Azure Container Registry.
Which is kind of like the Docker registry, but then on Azure, and also allows
It's
you to have
private.
like a private repository. Yes.
Yes. And then I hope it is all up. It's still not up. So we'll have to wait for this to come up to spend some time on the eShop. So we'll spend some time buying some stuff.
Yeah,
So,
what they are doing here is basically using that command prompt to show you the links that are shown on the bottom, but we already have them up and running in the different tabs in the browser. But otherwise we could use this command to get the URLs on screen again and navigate
yes.
to them.
Yes.
But these are the websites that you are showing in the other tabs, right?
Yes. These are the same.
That's it.
So it's 199 and it's the same. So yet to come, one more service to come online. This has been taking some time today.
In my experience, sometimes this lags a little bit behind the actual situation. So if you refresh your web shop, it might be up and running already.
The web shop is up. So this is only a specific service which got deployed. So web shop is up. It should take some
Oh,
more
this is the
time.
aggregator, yes. Yeah.
Yep. So we have it up and running. So let's go ahead and we can see this health check. We did that. You can see this, and successfully we have made sure that everything is up and running. So we'll move on to the next exercise where we're going to talk about more about the application insight. So what are we generating from a insight perspective? So let me go to the Azure portal and show you how you can we can search this resource group and see what all things been set up. So let me open this resource group and see a couple of things which have been enabled here, and we are talking about web shopping aggregator. And I just open that, and then what we will do, so web shopping aggregator, and go to live metrics. We'll go to live metrics. So we have live metrics up here. If you want to see a better view, so you can see dependency call. You can see a couple of things like CPU usage and what is the memory. And you can this is live, right, Vincent?
Yes, correct. So, but this is from the last 60 seconds, and of course the applications has just been restarted, so there's not much data yet. But yeah, what we'll see now, if we were going to browse the site or actually do orders, etc., then this screen will get enriched with newer information. So for now, for example, you can see that has been no request failures yet, or dependency call failures. But yeah, nobody has clicked anything in the application yet, so that's to be expected. But you can change that, Vivek, right? You can break it and show up, let request failures show up, right?
Yes. So basically, you can see this sample telemetry, which is empty as of now. Nothing has been captured. So what we can do is we can play with the app and create some failure points, and then we will see what happens, right? So just note that this is empty, there's nothing fails here. And what we can do now is just go to the app. So we'll buy some hoodies, Vincent.
Yeah.
We'll buy some hoodies. I don't have this specific mug as well, so I'm buying all these three things. And let's
Then you
go.
get
And
an overview. You can go to the checkout, and there you have the option. Everything has already been filled in, of course. But here you can apply a discount code like we discussed earlier. And for now, we're just going to do a fake one that actually gives you an error. So once Vivek pastes this in and presses apply, you can also see that the error is happening. So yeah, this should generate some data that we can see in the portal.
so let me go and buy one
Yeah, correct.
with the
Because that gives you
proper
more
discount,
information, of course.
and then place the order. And you can see the order is placed and everything is perfect, everything is running. So we have just made the purchase. Now we will go to the see, this is how the telemetry data has been generated for the couple of things which we did, right?
Yeah.
So, and also you can see call failure here, request failure rates, and a couple of things getting captured from a live metrics perspective as well. So let me go to the application map, Vincent, just to show how exactly this is all mapped. It will take
Yeah.
some
So
time
basically,
for
what
this to be updated.
what Azure Monitor can do is from all that data that it gathers, it can build up this kind of map and graphically or visualize how the application is how the different parts of the application are calling each other and what is happening in there. Normally, what it does is that you get this kind of simplified view. But then we also have the update map components button on the left top of this view, and that basically allows you to drill in deeper into that map aggregation that is happening.
Yes, and by the way, this is on the fly, the correlation and
Correct.
building of, I mean, the tray, how these different services are mapped to each other is been built on the fly by application insight. So you're not specifically, enabling this information, but it is. It is building it on its own on the fly and making sure you can see this here as part of the trace, right? So let me update the components, map components, and you will see why this is such an important feature as well. I'm just updating the map components, so it will take some time. And this is the overall interactions happening between different services. And you can see this order, coupon, catalog service, talking to each other, and kind of database request it has been sending. And couple of things which has got failed is is the log stash, which is not there, so the request has been failed. And you can see all these information here, and how many calls which has been made, what are the number of hops it has taken to interact with each other. So every information is available here. And if I click on this specific one, you can see top failing request by name. So we can investigate this one as well, Vincent.
Yeah, because what you can see already here in this screen is that one of the failing requests was for the coupon, the check coupon code, and Vivek pasted in an invalid code. So that's why we got this failing request. But we could now actually investigate exactly what was happening. If you have a customer in the support desk calling and said, no, I did enter a valid code, etc., situations like that, then you can basically use this functionality to drill in and pinpoint exactly where it went wrong and for what reason.
Yes, and by the way, you can just click on this to get all this information. And I mean, that's a very simple way to get slowest request by names and failed request by name. So, you can easily get those information here. And what now we will see is how you can search in the transactions, right? So basically, I'll go here in the search, and what we will do is we will do the investigation part of this
Yeah.
by searching for the failure. What did we give? It's give free
Give me
stuff.
free stuff.
Give me free stuff. Sorry. So let's go back there and give a search, and you will see there were a couple of trays which was created, and you can see all the specifically related to give me free stuff is listed here, right?
Yeah, and now what you're seeing is basically all the event types that have this code in its data. But what you can also do with the top functionality that you have here is with the event types, you could say, no, I only want to see traces, for example. So maybe if you can click on the event types on top. No, this wasn't the one that I was mentioning.
Let me go back. Oops. Where did it go? Okay. This one, right? 404.
No, if you go to the top of the bar where you can filter with the local time and the event types.
Oh, okay, got it.
So now you can
So
see
this
that
one,
all the events are selected, and if you just want to see the traces, then you actually see 4 of them. And what you can see in these results that are on the bottom is kind of the that logging template that we specified earlier, that's being used throughout all the different services. You say coupon not found and web aggregator with a message, etc. So they're all using that same structured format that we spoke about earlier. And now you can see all the requests where this specific coupon code has been used. So that's really helpful in defining the source of the error. Yeah, and this
So
is
this
then
is a
an
trace.
overview. This is an overview of the trace that has been done. And if you click on the view timeline button on top, then you can actually see the whole history of how this call with that give me free stuff traveled through the different services and what kind of responses and replies were given back.
Yes, and you can see here, um, it did call, coupon service, get coupon service, a good coupon by code as a one of the method, and then probably it got failed here, right? And that's the interesting part of building a trace, where you can see what's happening in different services and which service is been failing. It's not also about failing; you can also see the duration here. So you can also make out the performance latency as well. Like
Yeah,
if you're
correct.
looking at, if you're looking at, it's not just the failures, but where to optimize your code, and probably there is a performance issue. uh, this is where you can see a couple of services might be taking, or couple of context also. Basically, it's not always uh, the the performance of an application is specifically when you just call the service. It's also maybe in certain context as well.
Correct.
So you can get that information here, in which context the duration of these particular services taking a lot of time. So even that information is available here. So as a developer, I will be able to make out why this particular service is taking a lot of time to execute. So this is about how you manage logging. So I'll just go into the, how we can spend some time in terms of how this is can be set it up. Uh, so Vincent, you want to just run through how to set this up?
Yeah, this was basically what I was just explaining about the aggregated type of logging that we are using. And in these code fragments that are shown on the screen here, you can actually see how they are being defined in the code of the application and the services by giving that same dash logger dot log information command with the specific template, and then the information that needs to be filled in and sent in.
So there are a couple of things which you're adding. That's it. So it's all wherever you want that information, you just need to add that logger info. That's it,
Yeah,
right?
correct. Yeah. So basically, what we discussed all the way in the beginning, enhancing your code from the inside to tell what it should send to the outside on what is happening, and those are those log information calls that are there. Information is generally kind of like a level, like it says, information, but you could also use the same command with a log error or with a log debug. So you have different levels of information that you can send out in the log command.
Got it. Cool. I think we are moving on to monitoring. We did a lot of things with respect to logging, and we are going to go into the monitoring of the service.
Yeah.
And from a monitoring perspective, specifically, we are looking at container. So we'll see Azure monitoring for containers, and we will enable endpoint Prometheus, endpoint metrics endpoint to scrape data, Prometheus metrics into the Azure monitoring service, and we'll do a couple of things. So even before we do, this is the specific thing is not available on the fly. You need to add enable the Azure monitoring for containers through add-on. So you just need to make sure on your cluster, you just need to go back and enable it. So
Yeah.
I'm just enabling it on my cluster.
kind of what the same what we did with the command line interface to say, hey, I want to be able to do application inside commands. We are now saying to the cluster, hey, we want to be able to do cluster monitoring on AKS. And this is a fairly quick operation. It should give us something like that message that Vivek just scrolled by, like it's successful. But once that is done, we can go to the portal again and look at the metrics from the cluster.
Yeah, this is the Kubernetes cluster. So I'm just opening the cluster. The command has been enabled. No, not yet. Let it enable.
I shouldn't have said that it normally doesn't take a lot of time.
Murphy's Law. I think it's some of the command is taking some time on my system.
Well, I think what it does with the setup script is that it basically sets up all your infrastructure in central US, and as you are in India, that probably doesn't help on making it quicker.
Yeah, maybe I think I just need to edit those scripts to make sure it's setting up in India.
I did that for my local version, and indeed, I changed the scripts so that they are now creating my resources in Western Europe, which is where I am. Yeah, and that was fairly quick indeed.
Oh, this was not taking so much time. Let's wait a bit. While that's happening, it's pretty simple that we will go into the Azure portal and see the monitoring section, and we will see how this information is captured in terms of running pods, and then we will enable Prometheus metrics.
So could you say that once this is done, that you basically have kind of like the kube control functionality inside the Azure portal? Is that a fair assumption?
Yeah. Just so, why am I going into wrong one? Metrics. Oh, I should need to go to Insight. Sorry. So I'm going into the Insights, and there you go. By default, it is on the cluster, and you can see here it's still connecting.
Not done yet, no.
Not done yet. So it's
But
still
we
connecting
can.
to my. Yeah, I'll quickly show
that,
number
we
of
can show it
pods
later,
which is
perhaps.
there. Yep.
Oh, it's done now.
So just refresh this, and not yet. We can show this later as well once the data is coming in. We can just implement the Prometheus metrics, and we can come back to this. It's just basically a dashboard, and it's basically a dashboard where you can see all these data, which is with respect to cluster, with respect to node, and also a couple of information on containers as well. So that's the data information. Cool. We'll come back to this. While this is happening, so we will just ensure how to build something with respect to Prometheus. As I told you, there could be a lot of microservice application running, and for those microservice application, a lot of telemetry data is being captured, and data rate would be pretty high, and you need to use a time series database to make sure you capture the data points with respect to the timestamp which is being provided. So that is the basic of using Prometheus metrics, but it's pretty easy to set it up. So what we will do now is we will set it up with the catalog service. So that is the reason why the Nugget package is Prometheus Nugget package is being added to the catalog service. And once that is been done, what we will do is each visit on the catalog service, so whenever you call the catalog service, we will add a counter. So that means each request getting called, we will add a counter like 1 2 3, and it keeps counting it. So that's something which we will add, so that we can capture that information. That is a custom information which we are getting from the Prometheus. So let's go back, reconnect to the cluster. And what we will do is we'll go into the source and source, right? And then we will just call this.
Yeah, so this is just about adding the needed functionality to ASP.NET Core to be able to use Prometheus. And then in the next step, you will add the needed code to the catalog service.
Yeah, catalog startup script. Yes. So where are we adding this in the code? Add the counter. Code, add the counter code is here, and I'm just adding the counter code here and saving this. And then this is, as I told you, it's just a counter which whenever the catalog service being called, the counter gets updated. And this is a thing which we are capturing as well. So we should also enable use of middleware, which is nothing but a use metric server, which is like any of the metric server from and the reason to use this is with the Prometheus Nugget package. And by default, this particular service is sending all the metrics into the slash metrics endpoint. So it is being sent to the slash metrics endpoint, and but it is not really sent to any server, because Prometheus is a pull method monitoring system. It's not a push method, right? So the data is available on the endpoint. It Prometheus is basically pulling that information,
Right.
and we will set this up. I'll show you how to set this up, but before that, we will just make sure that we will set this use metrics as well. And we'll go here, add metrics, and set this up. And I've saved it. And we need to make sure that we change this. Sometimes you might forget to do this. This is a very important line here. Before you run this particular command, you need to make sure, since it is not as part of any code, you just need to make sure you just uncomment it. So just go here to the top and just uncomment this one.
Yeah.
So what we're doing is we are making sure that catalog service is been set up to send in the metrics information on the slash metrics endpoint, right? So it is been set up right now. And so basically this is on the application side of it, so we need to build it and make basically there is no issue with the code which we just added. Just making sure we are building it. So while we are building it, I'm hoping this data is coming. That's interesting. This was enabled. Let me go and see if we did enable this.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, and it gave the 100% succeeded message as well.
Interesting. Why it's taking time? Maybe some refresh. So we can see this on the dashboard, right? So
Yeah,
so active pod counts and 28 pods which are running, and these are all information which is it's just a dashboard which is available. And this is by default, it's on the cluster, but you can also have it on node and containers as well. So a couple of things, a couple of information it provides on the containers which are running, its usage of CPUs and start time and other things. And there is node as well, the number of nodes which we are running as well, and what is the usage and other things. So this is a simple insight on your on your cluster. So that's what we enabled from a Azure monitoring for containers perspective. But now,
yeah,
right now we are capturing information of Prometheus. So we did the code changes. We did enable this one. We have done the build. The build has succeeded. This is great, and we are just going to make sure we build the catalog service and send that to Azure Container Registry as well. So let me go back and do that.
yeah. And we might end up not having enough time to actually see the results. So if you do want to see it yourself, please go to this Learn Live module in the docs so that you can follow along yourself. And maybe use this as a kind of reference to help you through it. But the instructions in the documentation is pretty clear as well. And the link is scrolling by on the screen.
Yes, I'm just adding this to true, and I'll just talk through why we need to make this change, because we need to enable the annotation to call on the specific Prometheus. So basically, on the catalog service deployment catalog, what we're doing is we're adding the annotation here just to call scrape is equal to true. So whenever you say Prometheus monitoring on the pod is equal to true in the Azure monitoring config map, you just need to make sure this has been set up so that for each deployment it will capture this information and sees whether the metrics is available. So this is simple container insights has been sent to the Azure monitoring service. So this has been done. So we'll have to go to simple catalog deployments and we'll just enable this ones. And so this has been built. So we have already done that. So we have set it up, and this is the catalog service Helm chart. We are supposed to send that. I'm deploying that. I've already done this. This is very simple. Just go to the Azure monitoring, and these are a couple of configurations which you need to change. So this has been added, and we just need to deploy this configuration as well once the other one is being adding completed.
While this is
So
deploying, Vivek, might it make sense that we do a little bit of the knowledge check in the meantime?
we can. While this has been deployed, so let me go to the. So this probably we will have to go back and check this out from a Kudzo, but I'll go to knowledge check for. Cool. So, and in fact, you can take this poll. There's a link there, and there is a QR code, and you
Yeah.
can vote on that specific, a specific poll, which we will run now. So, the first question is basically which of the following statement is not true about logging and monitoring. So, it's not true about logging and monitoring. So a very interesting question. Just make sure you read it again from a question perspective, because it's specifically talking about not true.
Yeah, that's always a
And
little bit bit of a
tricky. That's a
change.
tricky one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are a couple of uh, you know, you know, in fact, if you see this, it's a correlation ID, from a link between two or more contexts. Yes, we need it. And there is a structured logging. We did discuss about it. And obviously, for troubleshooting issues is part of it. And, uh, you know, uh, definitely it's not a business performance indicator, right? So you're not really doing anything with respect to business here. So that's something which is the right answer as well. I'll go to the second question though. So the second question is about you know uh, which of the following statement is not true for application insight. Again,
So again,
here
not true.
also not true. So you need to make sure that it is not true. So there are A, B, and C, D. These are pretty. You can. It's a long to read, and you should spend some time and make sure that you answer it correctly. So what do you think, Vincent? Which one?
Um, well, I think we saw that different resources were created for different services. But yeah, I'm not sure if that's a must. We saw the application map, so I think we should be able to identify if what is told here about the application map is true or not. We definitely looked at application insights, and I think we told some things about correlation and dependency tracking. So yeah, it's I think everything that is needed to answer this question has been discussed today. But of course, yeah, if it's all new to you, then it might be a lot of information to digest. But yeah, it would be interesting to have a lot of people take this poll and see how they have digested the information. And then, in fact, that we can see that it's not enabled by default if it's running on
Yes.
AKS. We
Yes.
spend a considerable amount of time of adding it to to all the containers.
Yes. So the last question, which is the following statement is not true for application insight as well.
So again, not true. Yeah,
Yep,
keep
that's
everyone on his toes.
that is the confusing one. So again, it's basically you don't need a Prometheus server. That's what I was showing as well. You don't need a Prometheus server to uh, go about and execute this specifically. You
Azure
can just
Monitor
have
does it
Azure
for you.
monitoring as the server itself.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me go to the others, summarize what we have learned. So basically, uh, we did learn about monitoring and logging performance monitoring concepts, and obviously how to do both of these things with application insight,
Correct.
and we did learn about how do you perform custom performance metrics and Azure monitoring for containers and customize it. So you can learn more about it. Yeah, just go to this specific link from a summary perspective, and that's the QR code which you can access. And yeah, this is the learn module which we were executing it as well. So it took a bit of time. So probably we missed out on seeing a demo of the Prometheus, how the data is it is scraping, but you can definitely go back and execute this learn module and see how it does. And this is the QR code, and
Correct.
this is the link. And yes, and don't miss the next episode, which is an interesting one as well, because it's about
Absolutely.
the feature flag. How do you set up these feature flags on a microservice app, and how do you use it? So this is as well an interesting one. Uh, so I hope this was a good learning for everyone, and I would like to thank you for everyone for joining this particular
Yeah,
session. And thank you, Vincent, for an
my pleasure.
amazing being an amazing co-presenter with me.
My pleasure. So yeah, hope to see you again soon, and definitely come back next week for the next session. Bye bye.